What's up, guys? Buckle up because you're about to enjoy an excellent Snaps game preview where we tell you everything you need to know about this weekend's game and probably some stuff that you didn't. Enjoy. Alabama heading to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. And it's kind of crazy, Aaron, because although it feels like for some reason like 5 years ago, wasn't that insane Hendon Hooker Tennessee game just 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why does that feel so long ago?
I don't know.
But Alabama looking to go get revenge for having suffered a loss last time there, making Tennessee's year, right? Like officially bringing Tennessee football kind of back to the fore. And since then, we kind of crowned Tennessee, even with a bit of a step back last year. But you didn't have a quarterback, still went 9-4. Nico's coming. It's all working out. Tennessee looks awesome at the beginning of the year. I'm sitting here telling all y'all about how I think they're legitimate championship contender because they can run the ball, they can stop the run, and they have explosive playmakers, and a quarterback can make the plays when you rely on them. I don't know that I believe in any of that now, except that they can run the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know that I think Tennessee can stop the run very well. They looked awful against Florida. I don't know that I believe in the playmakers. And we've talked at length about Nico. So this game is all about Tennessee proving that they are not overrated. And I got to be honest, first glance, I don't like it at all if I'm a Tennessee fan. And the reasoning is not that hard because look at Jalen Milroe against Nico Iamaleava. That's just one angle. We get in many. But the gap between those two guys is massive right now. And Jalen Milroe, you're talking about the second highest rated passer in the country. And Nico, you're talking about the 8th highest rated passer in the SEC. Right now, Milroe completing 72% of his passes. Nico, 65. Milroe, 11.2 yards per attempt. Nico, 8.5. Milroe, 12 touchdowns through the air. Nico, 7. Milroe, 4 picks. Nico, 3. 247 yards a game to 203 yards a game. Also, Jalen Milroe has 11 rushing touchdowns on the year. I do not feel good for the Vols.
But how can you sit back and say that you feel good about Alabama this season too? Like, you played a very competitive game versus South Florida. You played a good half of football versus Georgia, then looked like shit the second half. You lost to Vanderbilt. Chill out. You were probably a fumble away from losing to South Carolina.
Passer in the country.
I know. I like Vandy. I got Kentucky this week. I watched that game last night. And then you were a fumble away from probably losing to South Carolina. So, like, what makes us feel so confident that Alabama is a good football team? Like, we're basing this all off Nico versus Jalen.
You're telling me they're a fumble away from losing to South Carolina. And I'm telling you, Tennessee should have lost to Florida, an even worse team.
Oh, this is
what
true.
I'm telling you is this is not about Alabama being big, bad Bama. This is about, I think I severely overrated Tennessee.
Oh, we all did.
But I'm saying maybe, we'll see, right? I could still be wrong on this.
Let's just say, like, Tennessee, so if you give me like Tennessee at their best, if like they can somehow channel early season Tennessee, I still think Tennessee at their best is better than Alabama at their best right now. I think Tennessee at their best is better than Alabama at their best.
But who has Tennessee done it again?
Alabama, but Alabama is they have two guys on offense that can make plays right now. You know, Jalen and Ryan. That is it. That is their whole offense. If somehow Tennessee
Tennessee has one, Dylan, and he's less than both those other guys. I mean, he touches the ball more, but they have to rely on him so much now they're becoming one-dimensional.
I'm still wrapping my head around like how bad these receivers have been for Tennessee. It's just shocking to me that they have not been as good as what we thought they were going to be. And I keep waiting for, like, is this going to be the moment versus Alabama's secondary, who's horrendous, that they finally break out and have that confidence at home and Nico has a game? Like, I still think, like, if Nico can somehow channel first two games Nico, I think they win this football game. But, like, you have to go with what you've seen most recently, and it's been 3 weeks of horrendous football. So I think the wild card is not a wild card. Jalen is I'm with you right now, playing significantly better than Nico, and you have to put your money on him.
Also, Tennessee on paper, you will see ridiculous defensive stats from Tennessee that will make you think, oh my God, this defense is elite. Maybe that ends up being the case, but look at the offenses they played, Aaron. First off, I mean, look, two FCS schools. If you don't filter out those, that changes significantly. But look at the NC State, 13th in the ACC in scoring. OU, 13th in the SEC in scoring. Arkansas, 11th in the SEC in scoring. Florida, 12th in the SEC in scoring. They have not faced anything close to what Alabama and company's bringing to bear on Saturday. Now, maybe they can control the game with the clock, which sounds funny to say about a Heupel team. Because, like, that could be one of their paths. They love to run the ball. Okay, run the fuck out of Dylan Sampson. Maybe you do kind of what Vanderbilt did. You limit Bama to 17 minutes or whatever. But
Alabama's rush defense is pretty fucking bad. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that is one of the only angles I see besides being at home. Being at home is massive.
Yes,
being at home is massive, but it barely saved you against the Gators. Then again, I'm just going to argue with myself here. To be fair, Florida game, classic trap game. You know, you see teams get tripped up in those situations all the time. So maybe I'm making a mistake.
It's a rival, though. Not like it's a rival.
I wouldn't think so. I'm just trying to be. I'm trying to be honest with the fact that, like, yes, Florida's still Florida, but I could see Tennessee looking forward to this one. You know, I don't think that's crazy.
I mean, Tennessee was up. They could have beat them back-to-back seasons, for goodness sakes. I mean, they were up last year at halftime with Joe Milton at quarterback. So I think this team does feel like we have now built a roster that we've proven we can not only beat Alabama, but we could be competitive year in and year out. It wasn't just a one-trick wonder kind of thing. It just, I don't know. Right
second half didn't go too well last year.
Yeah, second half it went horrendous. Horrendous. I don't know, man. It's been 3 straight weeks. 3 straight weeks, because Oklahoma was not good on offense either. 3 straight weeks of this offense looking pedestrian. And Arkansas's defense, I said this from the beginning of the season, Arkansas's defense, their DBs, I had their game, are not great at all. And in that football game, Nico threw for only 158 yards. They scored 14 points. That's the weakness of Arkansas's team, is the DBs. Florida's defense, horrendous. And you scored 23 points in overtime. You know, it's just, this offense has had 3 straight weeks of just not good football. Looking bad.
So it's a bit of bad on bad, because Alabama's had 10 straight quarters of looking very bad defensively, right? Yeah. And Kane Womack is probably panicking a little bit. Here's my key to the game. If Kalen DeBoer,
who would you take right now, Lenora Sellers or Nico? Because for how bad of a passer Lenoris is, I mean, he was 23 of 31 for 2 touchdowns in Tuscaloosa.
I know. Let me preface this with, like, you know, to really answer this, I think I'd have to really dive into the tape. I still just feel like I would just fall back on Nico right now.
Yeah. That's how bad Alabama's secondary is. Lenora Sellers went 23 of 31 for 238 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, that is so bad that even Tennessee, who's
in the shitter
right now,
a way better scheme than that, for sure.
And like, even though Nico's in such a shitty place right now, like, you can't tell me, looking at those stats, that they can't somehow find a way to have success.
Well, no, but I think, okay, well, if that's the case, then I think we're looking at a track meet or a shootout, which being at home maybe favors Tennessee.
Yes.
I got Alabama winning, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tennessee's. I know you've been on. Look, if Kalen DeBoer wears a collared shirt, I will guarantee you that Alabama will win. The problem is he's probably not going to. Motherfucker. No, but all bad jokes aside, and reuse stolen jokes from Twitter. I do think that I do think that Alabama wins this game.
I think Tennessee wins the football game. I think the D line contains Milroe. I think they limit the explosive. They have one playmaker on the outside. That's it. I just think Alabama's DBs are just so bad right now. They're so bad.
Also, Jam Miller
Tennessee's going to find a way.
Jam does lead the SEC in yards per carry. He's at like 7.
It doesn't feel like it, though.
I know.
Doesn't feel like it. It does hurt that Keenan's out, the linebacker for Tennessee. Their leading tackler is out for the season.
And you could feel now it happened in the middle of the game, and middle of the game injuries are different than injuries that happen with multiple practices ahead of time, because you can game plan, you can figure things out. When you lose your leader like that in your front seven in the middle of the game, that's actually probably one of the reasons why it felt like Florida was just running all over them.
I think Tennessee wins the football game.
Okay. I do not.
Okay.
I think I overrated Tennessee way too much. I think Alabama's offense against Tennessee's defense is a larger advantage than is Tennessee's offense against Alabama's defense. That's my final reasoning. And the quarterback thing. I mean, it's really hard for me to get away from the quarterback thing.
All right.
Oh, well, I'd say that was informative and fun. If you agree, please hit the like button, sub, and we'll see you next time for some more snaps.